want a 3-second head start.
3 seconds.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
1, 2, 3.
What's up, guys? In this episode, we're gonna compare the Moto B1 and the Tuttio Soliel 01. Let's go. So the first thing I want to break down for you guys is the way that these bikes come. The Moto comes as a rolling chassis. And what I mean by that is it comes with wheels, tires, frame, a motor, handlebars, seat, everything you need, but it does not include a battery, a controller, or a throttle on-off switch and a voltmeter. Now, for $999, you get the Moto as a rolling chassis. They have a battery option you can get from the website. It's about 800 bucks, and you can get a far driver controller from a company like Econic cycles, and you can install your own controller. Or if you already have all those components and you just want to buy the chassis, buy the $999 chassis, put your battery controller that you already have in there, and you got a running bike, right? And you can pick what kind of controller you want, what battery you want, the amp hours of the battery you want. This is kind of a DIY type bike, the Moto B1. The Tuttio is a 48 volt bike. It's a 30 amp hour battery, okay? It comes with a controller, it comes with a grip, a voltmeter, the motor, and the battery already in there for about $1,300. That's some of the housekeeping items I wanted to get out of the way before we actually get into the differences and the similarities in these bikes. Starting from the front here, guys, these bikes both have a 12-14 wheel set. So that just means it's got a 12 rear and a 14 front. Same back here on the Moto, it's a 14-12 front and rear. The forks on these bikes to the naked eye look identical aside from the color, and I'll get some close-ups for you. And the length of the forks from top to bottom, right at 25 inches to that axle. Same back here on the Moto, 25 inches. So wheel set is the same. We have the same forks. You can see that the difference is in plastics, in the design. That's a preference on you and what you like. The shocks on these bikes, both of them are right at 11 inches or 280 millimeters. We can measure them here real quick. Right at 10 inches on that one. Moving back here, this is an upgraded shock that I bought. This is a D&M shock, is 11 inches. So the shock on this one is 10 inches. The shock I have on here is 11 inches. One more thing to notice on these bikes, y'all, they come with what look like the exact same brakes. Hydraulic brakes, hydraulic pit bike brakes. That is exactly what we're looking for in bikes of this size and the speed at which they go. What the bikes look like and what you think looks better, that's up to you. Personally, I like the traditional look of the Moto. I'm 5'10", 200 pounds of pure steel. But when I sit on this bike, the suspension on here, this isn't, like I said, this is an aftermarket D&M shock that I got on here, so it's a little bit maybe upgraded. But I'll say, the seat on this bike sucks. But the ride is great, I'll give him that. The ride is great. Tuttio, on the other hand, killed it with the seat. I'm 41 years old, and I just gotta have a nice seat. That's all I ask. Man, this seat, whoo, boy, I could sit on this baby for a while. It's a comfortable seat. The ride is nice too. Tuttio, I said it in the original review that I did for you guys. Tuttio seat, one of the best in the biz. So another similarity with these bikes is the motor. The motor is inside the frame. Tuttio's motor is right here behind this plate. I'll show you that right now. And the Moto is inside the frame also. Now, whether or not that makes a huge difference on a kid's toy or a bike that goes 40 miles an hour, whether that's a swing arm mounted motor or an inside the frame mounted motor, I'm not the guy to ask about that, but that is just a similarity that both of these bikes have. The motor is inside the main frame of the bike. So the similarities that we've had so far, wheel size, the same, forks are the same, motor placement is the same, the brakes are the same, and that's about it. That's about everything I can think of that is the same. The differences, the Tuttio comes with a 420 chain. 420 chain on a bike like this, that chain size is usually reserved for a more high power bike, but what that allows you to do is upgrade the motor and the controller and really not have to worry about the chain, because this chain can handle a lot more power than 48 volts is gonna give. B1 comes with a 35H chain. Again, a great chain. 35H is what I run on a lot of my razors, and this bike right now has a 35H chain on it as we speak. I gotta give Tuttio the win on access to the battery. If you wanna get the battery out of this thing, let's just say you have another battery, right? All you gotta do is come up here, unscrew this screw, take the seat off, and then on the inside, you just take and you move this clamp out of the way and you pull the battery right out. The new battery slides in, and it takes literally 3 minutes to put a new battery in here. The Bomb Moto, that's not gonna work for you. You can't do that. Bomb Moto, you gotta take these side plastics off, and then you gotta take the battery out in order to put a new battery in if you wanted to hot swap a battery. So Tuttio wins there. Okay guys, so the biggest differences with these bikes is not the size, it's not the forks or the wheels, it's going to be the battery, the controller, is the way that these bikes come. This bike, $999 for just a rolling chassis, right? The battery, I got it written down here, the battery is 72-volt battery, okay? And I'm running mine at 80 amps through the far driver controller. The battery, $850. And then you got the controls. If you wanted to buy the controls from Econic Cycles, they're about 60 to 80 bucks. So you're in the hole about $2,100 for a 72-volt bike with a quality controller, a quality battery that your family can grow into. You can tune this bike up in the controller and make it faster, make it slower through a far driver app. All easy peasy, and there's support groups that can help you do that if you're unfamiliar with how to tune these bikes or work within the far driver ecosystem. When it's all said and done, 72-volt bike, far driver controller, $2,100. Moving on to the Tuttio, 48-volt bike. This bike does come with a quality controller. It has a far driver controller, and it also $1,300 for this bike, the way that it sits, shipped to your door. I'll have a link in the description below if you're curious about the pricing and more of the specs, but $1,300. The good thing about this bike is it comes from the factory with a 3-speed switch built in. So if you buy this for your kid and you're not sure of their riding capability, stick it on mode 1. And as they get better, mode 2, mode 3. If they outgrow mode 3, I got a video series coming too on a battery upgrade. So we are going to upgrade the battery in this bike. It's about a $600 battery. It's a 60-volt battery, but the only thing we're gonna do is take the battery out and put a new battery in and leave the rest of the components stock. And what we can do, once we have that battery replaced, we can leave the controller in here. And what I'm going to do in the video is I'm going to get a Bluetooth dongle from Econic Cycles, and we can go in there and we can tune this controller to get more power from the battery to the motor to make this thing even more awesome. Enough blabbing, let's get these bikes on the road. I'm gonna do a quick speed test for you. It's not really gonna be fair, 72-volt bike, 48-volt bike, but the discharges are pretty similar on the amps. So we'll see. The Bomb Moto is definitely faster, but I want you, the viewer, to see for yourself.
You're looking pretty packed up today.
All right.
Yeah, looking good over there.
Okay. Let that make the blooper reel.
Oh, that's a high-level overview, everybody, of the Tuttio Soliel and the Bomb Moto B1, the similarities, the differences. The only thing left to do now is a speed test. Let's go. Let's go. Alright, I got up to 33.
That's not bad. I didn't get that much more above you. On
Top
this.
speed?
Yeah.
The top speed is pretty close.
I mean, I hit it and it had a little left, but not a ton.
Really?
Yeah. You ready? We rolling?
We're rolling. You ready? Do I get a head start? Sure. I want a 3-second head start.
3 seconds.
Alright, ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
1, 2, 3.